Alright, guys, I just want to give you a heads up. If you take your girlfriend or wife to see this movie, despite Henry Cavill having one of the worst haircuts ever for this role, they will still swoon after him. So, Argylle is a new action spy thriller comedy bunch of stuff all thrown into one. It's directed by Matthew Vaughn, who's done great stuff like The Kingsman: The Secret Service. He did X-Men First Class. He did Kick-Ass. He did Stardust. He's done so many cool movies and some that lacked a lot to be desired. But here it's like a new spyish thriller, which I think is a little weird. He's like really been on a spy kick lately, and that might be for a reason. But I guess you have to see this movie to figure out why. But essentially, the story here is that there is Ellie Conway, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, who is a novelist, and she gets enthralled into this whole world of spies and espionage because the books she's been writing about her character Argylle, played by Henry Cavill, seem to be coming true. So she's being pursued by a couple of different agencies in order to kind of predict what's going to happen next, and in order to figure out what she knows, how does she know the information she knows, and that's where the big mystery here lies. So you have a great cast here. First off, you have Henry Cavill as this. Is he fictional? Is he not? Is he a real person? Spy Argylle. I think Henry Cavill's great in this role, and how they use him, I really do think he's great. Minus the haircut. The haircut just it gets me every time. I can't believe how dumb this haircut looks. Yet my girlfriend still kept like swooning after him, even with a bad haircut. So that that's a whole other thing. Bryce Dallas Howard as your lead. I love Bryce Dallas Howard. I think she's great. She's a great director. She did a lot of stuff, with Star Wars. I think she's a really talented actress, and I think it's cool that she's kind of the lead here, running around in her mom jeans, doing action scenes. There's a lot of great stuff she gets to do in this film, and she has great chemistry with her co-star Sam Rockwell, who is a spy by the name of Aiden, who kind of comes to her aid and is kind of ushering her along through this story. And I love Sam Rockwell. I've loved him in Moon. I've loved him in so many things. He's such a great actor, and he is definitely the best actor in this film. Every time he's on screen, I totally love it. He's got the charisma, he's got the comedy, he can be serious, so he's kind of everything in one. He's just a really great actor. I always enjoy it when Sam Rockwell's on screen. It's a great, fun cast. Some people you might be familiar with Matthew Vaughn's previous works, and here, I think it's great. They have a lot of great chemistry here. Some performances better than others. I think when it comes down to it, though, some of the writing and direction is kind of what hurts some of these actors and their characters, because I feel like while the film itself, and this is very, I think, intentional from Matthew Vaughn's kind of jumping off point, is that it walks the fine line between being kind of reality based to an extent to being an over the top action action genre movie that we've kind of seen from him before. When it's kind of realistic and real world stuff, I'm all down with it. I think it's pretty good on that front. But then it gets a little over the top, and you're like, okay, I can still ride with this. It's a little over the top, but it's fun. And then it gets really over the top. And so that's the point where I think a lot of people are either going to be on board or off board with this film, because it goes to some weird places. And if you can't buy into that, then you're not going to buy into this movie. There's some scenes specifically in the third act I especially think people aren't going to buy into. But maybe you don't even buy into it from the beginning. Maybe just Matthew Vaughn's style itself from the jump isn't your thing. I can see why a lot of people wouldn't like this. Now, is this the greatest film in the world? By no means. It is a typical kind of spy action thriller that we've seen done before and seen done better before. It does stink that a talent like a Matthew Vaughn here can't get more out of this. I mean, he gets it up to a point, and I was entertained from start to finish. I laughed quite a bit. I thought it was good. Definitely not great. Definitely not terrible. There are moments, though, of pretty good to that was not as good as it could have been. And it does meander at points. That's another big criticism for me, is that it just kind of wades in the water while it like tries to throw these twists at you. And there's twists throughout the movie, and a couple of them got me. A couple of them were pretty predictable. But I think if you kind of go into this not knowing much, you actually might have a great time with this and be like, that was a fun little action movie. It's no, Kingsman, and it's no, Mission Impossible or James Bond film, but it was a serviceable, fun time. And of the two movies I've seen so far this year, I do prefer this one to Beekeeper. If you don't like this style, it ain't gonna work. It's as simple as that. If you're not into this Matthew Vaughn style, because it can go haywire. Like great stuff like the first Kingsman, and then you get the sequel, which was just not good. I mean, his balance of what he wants to do is so razor thin that you'll either land on the side of yeah that was good or nah none of this worked. And he rides that line every time I feel like I see one of his movies now where I'm just like it's either you do or you don't. There's not really much of an in between. But here it is kind of the first in between where I'm like, I kind of enjoyed this, and I can also understand why it's not great, and why it's got a lot of the same issues I've had with like a Kingsman: The Golden Circle, and some of his other films. But I mean, it doesn't reach like the heights of like an X-Men First Class for me, which I think is his best film. You know, X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass, Kingsman are probably his three best films. They're sitting right there behind me, and I don't know. And the way this film kind of wraps up, and there is a post-credit scene. You don't have to like wait after all the credits. You just gotta wait through the initial credits. There is a post-credit scene that kind of hints at this, being part of a much larger world, which a lot of films do nowadays. But it was in such a way that I wasn't even expecting, and it kind of bummed me out a little bit because I was like, why can't this just be a one-off? Why can't this just be its own thing? And instead, it had to jump off into this. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Have you gone out to see Argylle yet? Based on a lot of the tracking numbers and reviews, I don't know if a lot of people are going to go see this one. 2024 is looking not to be the best year in terms of just every week having a banger film come out. We might have to slog through some crap here for a little bit before we get to some gems. But we'll see. 2024 for me is just off to a slow start. I'm going to end up giving this film a C plus. Again, not good, not bad. Kind of rides that middle line where I was more entertained than I was not, and I didn't have as many problems as I think some of the, you know, main critics out there you'll see who gave this, not as great scores or bad reviews. It's not bad. It was a fun time. It just depends on your sensibilities. So, what do you guys think? Are you gonna go check out Argylle? Do you like Matthew Vaughn as a filmmaker? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys could please hit the like button, subscribe button, the little bell notification to be notified whenever I drop new videos. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. And until the next review, guys, I don't even know. I've been really bad at keeping my movie schedule together. I don't know what's coming out next and what I'm going to go see. But until then, guys, I'll be seeing you.